What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Double A Hef here. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So, this video here is we're going to be addressing something that's pretty important in the black community, and it's rather important because it is the tactic used by the the masses to control the quote unquote black community, and it's been used for decades. For decades, this is like the number one play. Like if this was a team sporting event, this is the play that they run over and over and over and over again. And it seems that the quote unquote black community have no defenses for it. We can't get right to stop this fucking play that they keep running. Okay, and the play is Marxism. Now, I know that I've spoken about Marxism plenty of times on this channel, but obviously I understand that, you know, I have many videos and I have almost 100 subscribers. I highly doubt every single one of my subscribers have watched every single one of my videos. Not saying that because the content isn't good, because the content, in my opinion, is great and everyone should watch it. But I just know that, you know, most people, they'll probably watch what pops up, or, you know, a related video, and then that's it. They're not really gonna just straight binge something unless it was, you know, if I had like 50,000 subscribers and stuff like that, then yeah, people probably would binge my stuff. But I'm not there yet. I understand that you have to make your mark. So obviously, I digress. The content that I do, you know, that like for instance, this video is new, so I'm gonna obviously reintroduce some things because maybe this may be the first video that someone ever watches of mine. So with that being the case, yes, the number one play is Marxism, and they run that play over and over again on the quote unquote black community. Why? Well, you know what? I think it's working. Now that doesn't help us, and I'll tell you why. So what Marxism likes to do is, you know, fill your head up with all these, you know, great ideas. You know, great everything on paper. It sounds amazing. You know, you don't have to be a second class citizen anymore. Everything's going to be equal. Everything's going to be equal. Everyone's going to be equal. We're going to have a fair share in the communal growth and development of the quote unquote state. Right now, it sounds like a utopia, and the reality is, the sad reality is that it's very enticing because, for instance, if you ever read the Communist Manifesto, which if you haven't read, and you should read, like not even anything else, just like real short, yeah, you should read it. So anyway, in the Communist Manifesto, it pretty much says that, you know, there's the ruling class who, you know, runs capitalism, and then there's everybody else, right? Now the unique thing to quote unquote black people here in America is that when you read the Communist Manifesto, it's pretty much it's tailored to talking about you. You know, obviously, Karl Marx was not a quote unquote black person from America, but when you read it and when you let yourself be pimped to it, you'll be told that yes, this is about you, and you know this is the way that, you know, you have to. This is, you're gonna get equality. You can't do it in a capitalistic society, and you know it has to be through socialism and stuff like that. You get pimped out. Now the issue with that is the Marxist ideology. They break down religion. One, now already, quote unquote black people aren't that religious by the numbers. You know, it's declining every decade. It declines more and more drastically. You'll go around and you ask quote unquote blacks, are you religious? Do you believe in God? And you know, more and more are saying no. So that's number one. You know, it breaks down the religion. And I don't know, most people might say, oh well, you know, I don't believe in religion anyway, and religion doesn't have anything to offer. Listen to me. Look, religion, whether you totally agree with it or not, sets the stage, sets the basis for foundations in order, right? Now, that is a good thing. There's value in that. Because now if you don't have religion, you don't have any order, then anything can fucking go for the most part, you know? And if you're only living and thinking about yourself, then you know what you'll say to everybody else? Hey, just do what you want to do because I don't really care because it doesn't affect me, and at least because I'm just worried about myself. So you should do the same, right? But now that breaks down community. That's not how communities operate. So with the breakdown of the church, you have the breakdown of the family, because obviously, again, they adopt this mantra of, oh, the village can raise the child and stuff like that, as opposed to the mother and father raising the child and being the backbone and support of the family. So again, breaks down religion, breaks down family, then breaks down ultimately community. And then once all that's broken down, all you have left is the state. And then the state pretty much tells you what to do and how to do it, and is in total control. What Marxists refuse to understand and refuse to tell people is that the people don't ultimately have the power in Marxism, because the state has all the power. You've divulged all the power to the state. Now, whoever's in charge of the state has the power, right? And again, now it's worse than quote unquote capitalism. Now, again, is capitalism perfect? No, not at all, not at all. But is capitalism racist? And I made a video on that. You can definitely go and watch my video, but I'll answer it here today. No, inherently capitalism is not racist, because inherently it's governed by its own rules, which are basically supply and demand, and fortune favoring the bold. If you have an idea, or say you have a talent, and you can market and monetize that talent, no matter if you're black, white, Chinese, you whatever you're doing is going to blow. It doesn't matter what race or creed you are. All that matters is the product. That's all that matters. Ultimately, yeah, that's all that matters. So, yes, no, capitalism inherently is not racist. It's not. Now, we have to understand something, that in capitalism, and like in most things, there are going to be like extremes. There's always extremes. Like, you think about the political sphere that we have in this country. We have, Democrats, and then we have Republicans on the other side. In capitalism, we're going to have rich and we're going to have poor. In capitalism, we're going to have super rich, like fucking filthy rich, and then we're going to have super filthy, like legit filthy poor people. And that's just what comes with it. Now, with that being the case, is it easy for someone all the way at the bottom to make it all the way to the top in capitalism? No, but we have to get away from saying what's easy or not. Anything worth having isn't going to be easy to obtain. But is it possible? That's the question. Is it possible? And the answer is yes. In this country, almost anything is possible. But instead of our people being taught that, we're taught to just throw on a towel before you even start. And that is an issue. And and the bigger problem is that a lot of people telling our people to throw in the towel before they even start are people that are rich. You hear Oprah Winfrey, you hear celebrities, LeBron James, and all the people like that talking about, oh, like it's hard out here and stuff like that. And all they're pretty much telling you to do is throw in the towel before you even attempt it. But mind you, they all live in their, palatial estates, and freaking mansions in California and Hollywood and shit like that. So that's the interesting part. We have to do a better job at looking around and saying or seeing who is saying what to us, and then asking why. So I digress. We are always under attack. Now, again, most people don't notice, or they do know. And if you know, you know, whatever. But for instance, the Black Panther Party, that was a socialist movement. They're still around, so I guess I should say is a socialist movement. But you guys get what I mean. That's the socialist movement, which is Marxist, all right, and they were pimped and palmed. There's this book that I always reference. It's called, what the fuck is it called? Ah, man, I can't remember what it's called. I have it on my bookshelf, but the bookshelf, I'm nowhere near the bookshelf right now. But I've said the name of this book many times, and it's definitely a recommended read. I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start making videos where I just pretty much go over like great books to recommend for y'all, because there's many out there. There's many out there, and obviously, hey, if you guys know some books that you would like to recommend, please drop them in the comments. Drop them in the comments, and then whatever, I'll bring them up in the video so that way other people can read them too, because we have to share information. You know, because there's tons and tons of books um, all over. You know, so please, by all means, I'm always open to reading and learning some more stuff, and I'm sure that other brothers out there that watch the channel are as well. So you know, we can help each other in that regard. But back to what I was saying. The name of the book, I can't remember the name of the book. It's not a long read either, but I do remember the author. The author's name is Manning Johnson. Okay, so if you could just search his name, I'm sure you know you can sift through and find the book. But the book is pretty much about this man talking about in the 1950s how communists came over to America and they were trying to teach quote unquote blacks like how to like they were training them to be Marxists, kind of like how um, the BLM leaders said themselves they were quote unquote black lesbians and trained Marxists. Right now, when I said that, most people like it went through one ear and not the other. But what I said was trained by who? You know, by who? That's the interesting part because we know where Marxism comes from. It comes from Russia. Okay, so when no one ever wants to ask that question. But anyway, trained. They were training these people in the 1950s. In the 1950s, okay, that's what 70 years ago. So and then pretty much I don't want to tell you the whole book, but that was pretty much the premise. You know, and he went into how they were trying to sell it and stuff like that, and why it was so intriguing for quote unquote blacks to adopt it back then. So yes, but that's 70 years ago. So what I'm saying is it's the same playbook that was in the 50s, and obviously in the 60s and the 70s you had the Black Panther Party, and again that's Marxism. So 50s, 60s, that's three decades already. BLM is Marxist. So we've literally always been under attack by quote unquote Marxism. Okay, and what Marxism is a door to Luciferianism. You know, that self-worshiping, God worshiping, all that self-worshiping as a God worshiping bullshit. So ultimately, it is going to lead you to destruction, and it has been leading the blacks to destruction, unfortunately. So I know I've went pretty long with that, but I will. Damn, I did go long. 12 minutes just talking about that. But look, that's why I make these videos, guys. Yeah, so please check out the old videos, and then y'all will see this stuff. But look. So, this guy that the screen is on right now I forget his name, but he's from the Young Turks. Supposedly, he's the nephew of Cenk Uygur, who's like the leader of the Young Turks. I used to watch the Young Turks back when I was in college, like those days. And one of my last videos, I went into all that, how, when you're young and, all you know is what you know, you don't know any better. So obviously, yeah, I used to follow the Young Turks and stuff like that. Um, I was even a quote unquote Justice Democrat and helping get a lot of those ideas across. But again, like I said in the last video, when that's all you know, that's all you know. If you go to a doctor's office for the first time ever, and then the doctor tells you, "Hey, you need glasses," you don't know, and you didn't know. You thought your vision was fine. You thought everyone saw the world the way you see the world. And again, that's the same analogy that I use when it comes to politics. So I don't fault many people, especially young people, because I know that they've only seen the world through those eyes, and they've only heard the world through the mouths of others. So those other people would probably saw the world the same way they saw the world. All right. So I don't fault people, especially young people that believe in this stuff. Because I was there. But again, as stated in the scriptures, when I was a child, I did childish things, and now I'm no longer a child, and I put away such childish things. Now again, that's a paraphrase. That's not a direct quote from the Bible, but you get the point. So anyway, this guy is from the TYT, and he's gonna be speaking pretty much the same talking points that you would expect from those people to speak. Now I'm going to play this video. He's going to bring up a thought experiment, and then I'm going to break it down. All right? So let's go.
A thought experiment. Okay. Let's say that you make 15 loaves of bread. Okay? You're making 15 loaves of bread. Then you hire someone, and that person also has the capacity to make bread, and together you guys start making 20 loaves of bread. And you're like, well, okay, I'm going to take 15 loaves of bread for myself and give this person 5 loaves of bread. a payment. Okay? So now your output is 20 loaves of bread, and the other person is getting 5 loaves of bread while you're getting 15 still. Then another undocumented person comes in.
Illegal alien?
Yeah, illegal alien, sure. And all of a sudden, that person is working as well with your company. And now...
I don't hire illegals.
Okay, hold on, not yours specifically. I'm just saying, this is a thought experiment. We're not making loaves of bread, and that's not the kind of payment anyway.
Go ahead.
So let's say now, because of that, there's an additional person, now you can pay the other, the original employee 3 loaves of bread, because you can pay the undocumented person 2 loaves of bread, because the undocumented person doesn't have all of the rights that a legal citizen would have. So you can justify paying them less. And then you can justify paying less to your original employee, because there are plenty of people who could take their job, right? You're like, well, you know what? If you want to keep at least any loaves of bread and feed your family, you're going to have to take less money now, okay? Now, you look at that and you say, hold on, why don't we...
Before he continues, so let's just break that first part down. So he's saying that if you own a bakery or whatever, and you're baking bread, by yourself you can make 15 loaves, with another person you can make 20, and then you pay the other person 5 and you keep the 15, which wouldn't be done, because if that's the case, I don't need the other person. Because if he's gonna keep what he makes, then I don't need him here. So number one, this is a poor example. But going on anyway. Then he says you hire an undocumented, and then the undocumented you can pay less because obviously they're undocumented, and they're just going to be happy to take whatever they want, right? Yes, that is correct. So, and then if you're paying an undocumented person less, and their production is high, then you might justify, paying the documented citizen less, right? And yes, now are there some facts to that? Yes, especially in terms of just regular thinking. Yes, obviously that would make sense. If this person is working just as hard as you for less, then I'd rather have more of him than more of you, right? Yeah, but that happens in this country. And it's nothing that we can do to stop it. We're always gonna have undocumented coming in. Now, am I one for open borders? Hell the fuck no, I'm not. I'm not for open borders. But I just know, it's very idealistic to think that you can stop all the illegal immigrants from coming in, whether they're coming from south of the border, north of the border, or if they're flying in, or if they're taking boats in, whatever the case may be. It's just, you're never going to be able to stop something like that. So obviously we try to keep that number as low as possible, and then, have them go through the proper channels to get here. That's my mindset, because again, we have to take care of our people first. And if the illegals are coming in and then they're being, obviously we're in a situation where it's like, okay, our people might lose jobs because the illegals are just cheaper to pay, then obviously that's going to affect our people, right? Yeah. So obviously I'm for our people first. Obviously I'm for my people first, quote unquote, black people, the quote unquote blacks of captivity. But obviously, by extension, I do live in this country. So any laws or stuff like that that's going on, I would want to see, quote unquote, Americans, be taken care of first than anyone else, no matter what country they're coming from. Okay, so let's continue.
Why don't we just, eliminate the undocumented person and get 5, while the boss still gets 15 loaves of bread? Because I was getting 5 last year, and that was better than 3. And you're right. That is better. 5 loaves of bread is better than 3. However, what I advocate for is taking away from the boss 15 loaves of bread, helping him have 10 loaves of bread, and then taking the rest of the 10 loaves of bread and distributing it evenly amongst the other employees. So all of a sudden you have 7 or you have 8, and your new friend, who is the undocumented citizen who came in, has 7.
Is that a question?
So look, this is part of the silly ass mindset that they try to get, quote unquote, young blacks, especially in college, to adopt. Like, oh, no. we need to take the money from the people that control, not control. Well, I don't want to say control, that have more money, and then give it to us. And that's not the solution. That's not the answer. Okay, that is not the answer. That's the lazy man's approach. That's pretty much saying, hey, you know what? I don't have any money, so I'm gonna go and rob people. That's pretty much what he's saying. It's like you're taking money away from other people that worked to earn the money. Now, you can't be the judge of how people get the money or how they get their money, right? So look, if I am a baker and I create a bakery, right? I'm baking. I have a bakery. I took the initial risk in starting this bakery. Now the bakery's up, and now people come and they work for me, right? And then here they bake. So why the hell would I get less for starting it and taking the initial risk? Right? That's not how it works. If you want more money, and you want a more quote unquote equitable turnout from that, the only way you can do that is if you were to start your own bakery. That's it. You start your own bakery, and then you would be on quote unquote level playing field as I am. You don't get to level playing field by trying to take what I have and create it. That's not how it works. But that is how this is sold again in colleges and universities across the nation to quote unquote young black men and women. All right, and they believe that. They believe it. I believed it at one point. And it quote unquote made sense to me at one point. But for most of you listening now, I'm sure it doesn't make any sense to you. Just like it doesn't make any sense to me now. That's not how it works. I want my own shit. You create your own. You make your own, and then you make the rules, and then you decide what the hell's to go on. You can't take money away from someone that started their own business and literally took on all the risk. Because the other person, the people, they just come in with no risk. I'm going to work here and I'm just going to take half of what this guy has. But I had no risk involved. So there's no reward for the bold. So then why would people take risks then? If I'm not going to be if I'm not going to be favored by the risk, why take the risk? And then that's how you also have stagnation when it comes to things in the fields of creativity and innovation, because there's no incentive.
No, this is the difference between your outlook and mine. Whereas I think that the people at the top have a lot, and they have a lot to give back.
They do have a lot, and the majority of them worked hard to get a lot. Now, I know that the training tells you to freaking hate and loathe those people with all that money because it's a bad thing. But no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Not unless you're out there scamming people and like pulling a Bernie Madoff. Unless you're doing something like that, then no, it's not scamming. If you work hard, like say for instance, say my YouTube videos blow all the way to hell up, right? Hypothetically, I would be freaking uber rich, right? And then say I became like the first billionaire YouTuber, right? Which obviously like that's not gonna happen. But I'd say for the sake of this thought experiment that were the case, then would it be fair for someone to say to me, oh, like hey, that's not fair that you have all that money and you shouldn't make all that money. You should give the money to other people. Well, why the hell should I do that? What I do with the money is gonna be my own choice and on my own volition. Not because other people say that I have too much money. First of all, I have a family. And the more money I make, the more secure my family can be down the line, like generations. And that's ultimately what people and human beings are about, self-perseverance. Now, if I could preserve my family down generational lines, then that is pretty much the pinnacle of success, in my opinion. And I think in most rationally thinking men's mind, you want to be able to make sure that your family's taken care of, when you're here and when you're gone. So obviously, the more money you have, the better off you'll be able to be, or the better off they'll be able to be. So for these people to sit here and try to make it seem like it's some kind of like indictment against you, no. We cannot allow them to control the narrative like that. And I say this all the time in other issues. When they control the narrative, then when they control the words, they control the narrative, and then they'll paint you in whatever light they want to paint you in. So that's just not true. If I have all that money, then I did something great. And my family is good. That's my job as a man. That is my job. Okay? But this Marxist shit, they try to strip all of that away. Like we're all supposed to go together. Well, not for nothing. We're not all going to go together. All right? We're not all going to go together. My responsibility is to the Most High and to my family. That's my responsibilities too. And obviously the quote-unquote black community, the quote-unquote people of the captivity, I'm responsible to my people. But again, I'm not supposed to just, be doing the work for everybody. That's not how it works. People need to do their own and achieve their own instead of looking at what other people have with their hands out.
Do I own the company?
Yes.
And I'm in business to make what?
Loaves of bread, let's say.
I rest my case.
Exactly.
The owner should have more.
You're still no, but
because that's why he's the owner.
I know, but if you were alone, you would not be able to increase your productivity. You would not be able to create more loaves of bread.
That's why I hire someone.
Exactly. So a business starts out with one person, right? I mean, obviously it could start out with two, whatever, but you get what I'm saying. It starts out small, and then it grows, and the more it grows, the more it can do, right? Yes, but the more it grows, not everyone is doing the same exact role. Not everyone's doing the same exact role, right? Like if Walmart just kept hiring cashiers and nothing else, just cashiers, would they have grown to the size that they are now with just cashiers? No. Not everyone does the same roles. Not everyone does the same task.
Exactly.
But they don't have to work for me if they don't want to.
I know, but where would they
They
go?
are the
They would
ones
go
who
to
would
another. They would go
First
to
of all,
another factory where they would have the same position.
No, I would call the police and tell them.
No, in your terrible thought experiment, they would go to another quote unquote factory where where they're in the same predicament. But that's not how it works, okay? Especially not nowadays in the U.S. with all the federal laws prohibiting companies from pretty much exploiting workers. Now, is there still a level of exploitation to a degree? Yes, there is. Yes, but it's not like the freaking the 1890s and shit like that, where you got fucking kids working in factories, and that's not the case. So again, no. And also, if you are trying to just be a worker bee, then yes, you're gonna have to settle for whatever you can get. But if you want to strike out and take risks and do your own thing, and then ultimately get rewarded for it, then that's your decision as well. It's your decision. Okay, so this guy, he in this video he said he was 27, so obviously he's young, and he doesn't understand. But I'm making this video for the quote unquote black brothers and sisters out there that think along the lines of this guy. Look, man, that is flawed thinking. Now I know that a lot of y'all, think I know everything, and then you probably didn't even make it this far in the goddamn video. Because you think you know everything, and then you probably, think I don't know shit. And, look, there's a lot of things I don't know. But there's also a lot of things that I do know. And I do know that there's nothing wrong with capitalism. You just have to elect to play the game. If you want to opt out, then you're not going to reap the benefits that comes with playing the game.
I have an
And also, you're fooled by the delusions of grandeur that quote unquote socialism boasts.
alien here.
And that is
You need to
capitalism.
come
You're right.
together.
That is exactly the problem.
And I'm not sitting here saying again that capitalism is the end all be all, the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, like obviously there's improvements that can be made, but when you compare the two, socialism or Marxism and capitalism, no, it's not even close, man. It's not even close.
No, they have no business in my company or in my country.
Okay.
And so I would call the police. I got to ask you, I know you are a male. Are you a man?
Yeah, but that's pretty much it on that one, y'all. and that video went a little longer than I thought. But thanks for sticking around and watching to the end. Please do like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and definitely drop some book names, titles. I mean, in the comments and stuff. Let me know what books you guys read. Let me know what books you want to recommend for me to read. Let me know if you want some more books that you recommended. And like I said, I'm gonna try to get around to making some videos, about the good books to be read and stuff like that. I just gotta figure out how exactly I'm gonna do it because I don't want to, tell you too much about the books. Because I do, want y'all to read them. But I'll get to that. I'll figure that out. But peace.